Shalom. Thanks for stopping by firstcenturychristianity.net or wherever you might be listening to this podcast. Today I'm going to talk about the White Throne Judgment. By the way, this is Chris with firstcenturychristianity.net. I'm going to talk about the White Throne Judgment from a perspective that practicality, a perspective of actual practical application of these books being opened. So Revelation 20:11 through 12. And then I saw a great white throne and him who sat upon it, from whose presence earth and heaven fled, and no place was found for them. And I saw the dead, the great and the small, standing before the throne, and books were opened, and another book was opened, which is the book of life. And the dead were judged from the things which were written in the books according to their deeds. So quickly on the doctrinal front, we believe that this occurs at the end of the millennium. At the return of Yeshua is when all the saints, the people who have accepted Yeshua as the Messiah, who do not come into judgment, are resurrected, ascend to be with the Lord. And then at the end of the 1,000 years, there's this period of time where everybody else is judged based upon what they had done in their previous lives. This is heavy on my heart because we are at the end of a period of time of losing a lot of loved ones. Uh, Starting back in March, April timeframe, our dog passed away. Now, dogs are not going to be judged. They're not humans. But then since that time, we've had a number of people pass away. A friend of the family named Edna, who was a Sabbath-keeping, a commandment-keeping Christian, so her funeral was doctrinally correct. Then a gentleman named Colin passed away, who was the husband of one of our church members, and they were in their mid-40s. 1 month later, Tanya passed away. That's the wife of Colin at 45 years old. And then somewhere in there, my own mother passed away. And my family just returned from Las Vegas, laying her to rest at the Boulder City VA. So this is a lot of heartache and a lot of whys and a lot of contemplation about life when, you know, Edna was in her 80s, my mom was 86. So them passing away is not a big shock. They lived long lives. It's still quite sad, and there's still loved ones, and they're still missed. The younger people passing away is also, it's quite devastating. And I kind of think that I might be missing somebody who passed away right now. So if I am, you can let me know through email, text, or just shake your head. So my mom was Catholic. I was raised Catholic. I'm not Catholic anymore. My mom was Catholic, so we had a Catholic funeral, and I did give the eulogy. And most of their doctrine was okay. They talked about the resurrection of the dead a bunch of times, and that was at a Catholic church. And then we went to a VA cemetery in Boulder City, Nevada, where we had another service with the casket and the flag and all that. And then we went to the grave site, and it poured rain, soaked us all to the core. Rain like you would see in Missouri happening in the desert of Nevada. It was quite a strange experience. And the entire funeral party was soaked and muddy, and it was light. We took it well, and we went to the reception all soaked, and it kind of made everybody equal. It made it a very unique and memorable experience. So after that, the next day, my sisters had a plan to go to my mom's house. My dad's still alive. He's 88. We're going to go to their house. I had a plan to go to my dad just to be with them, with my wife and kids. And my sisters had a plan to go through all of my mother's belongings, to go through her papers and her pictures and start sorting it out, because my dad does need people to manage stuff for him now, and that's a really thoughtful thing to do. So we were there at the house, and hours and hours and hours were there, and my sisters keep bringing things out for my daughters were taking pictures of everything to digitize the memories so we could get them up on a shared drive and get them around to all the family so everybody could share these memories. And as I'm going through that, I'm starting to think about this white throne judgment. I'm starting to think about what happens when, for those of us who are saved now, we're judged in real time, but at the end of the age, what happens in this judgment when the books are opened and people are judged based upon the things that they've already done in this lifetime? Because as we're finding, we're pulling out these really just precious and very private documents of snapshots in my mom's life and snapshots in her psyche. And in one instance, when I was 17 or 18, right, when I was finishing high school, they were to go on a cruise. Probably the only nice thing I can remember them doing, really. They never really had a lot of means and had always been, rather poor. So they're going to go and take a cruise, and they did their wills, and they wanted to make their wishes known about how they wanted things and how they wanted people handled, because they had custody of one of my nieces and one of my nephews that they were raising at the time, who were far from being of age. And so, looking at their wills and who they're deciding and what they're deciding, it's just very touching. But at the flip side, at that moment in time, they took that trip. As me being an incorrigible teenager, I threw a house party and wrecked their car. And it just hits me about being judged at any given moment in your life and the context of those decisions. And my parents were about to go off and have legitimate fun that they deserved, and their thoughts were about how to take care of their kids if they don't come back. And I, being the last of the original 6 kids, was thinking about selfish mischief and causing trouble. And it's really an eye-opener, because at the end of the age, when the dead are judged according to their deeds, when everybody's lives at that point are put into context, what is the good answer? When the creator of the universe and his son are judging all of mankind, and they're doing it the fairest way possible by saying, look, here's everything you've ever done, and here's all your decisions. As going through all this paperwork that my mom kept, her military papers, her diploma from high school, that my parents were married in 1956. They raised children for 48 years. They have pictures of their own children in black and white all the way up to the current digital age. Think about how many decisions and how much stuff that they have been through. The times when they were very stern with their children and pushed them away, other times when they were too permissible. Think about all the financial decisions and all the things that they had to do. My dad is still doing it. It's pretty daunting, and it's pretty amazing that there's a moment in time at the end of the 1,000 years before we go into the Olam Haba, where there is a sorting of the sheep and the goats. And there's a period of time for people who come up out of the grave, and they're being judged according to their previous deeds. And what are you going to do when you've been resurrected and there's the Son of God judging you? You better bow your face to the ground, apologize, beg for mercy. And if you keep reading Revelation 20, it says the people whose names were found written in the book of life were allowed to enter into the kingdom. And that means at the great judgment, there are people who will be found in the book of life. And I bet you it's a lot of people. So thanks for listening to me as I wrap up this very emotional time and we enter into the fall holy day period. Thank you all for supporting the ministry. And please drop by firstcenturychristianity.net, sign up for the newsletter, like and share this wherever you get it. And may Yahweh bless you and keep you in the name of his son, Yeshua.